Today I fudged up by telling my friend's strict parents about her secret boyfriend, not knowing they had no idea. I think I just inadvertently ruined my best friend's life, and I'm shaking as I write this. Earlier today, I, 20F, majorly F asterisk 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 ed up by accidentally telling my best friend's ultra-strict parents about her secret boyfriend. I swear on my life, I had no idea. They didn't know she was seeing someone. Now, everything is a complete mess. Some backstory for context. My best friend, let's call her Emily, 18F, has super strict parents. We're talking the classic overprotective, conservative type. She had a 10 p.m. curfew all through senior year. They monitor her social media, and she's not allowed to date until marriage, slight exaggeration, but you get the idea. Emily usually doesn't even bother trying to push those rules much, but about 6 months ago, she started dating this guy Jason, 19M, from our college. She kept it completely under wraps from her parents, obviously. I knew about Jason, of course. I'm her confidant for all things. But I honestly thought her parents had at least some clue that she was seeing someone by now. In hindsight, that was stupid of me. These are the kind of parents who would probably lock her in a tower if they even heard the word boyfriend. Anyway, on to the F asterisk 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 up. This evening I was over at Emily's house. Her parents had grudgingly allowed me to come by to work on a joint college project with her. We're first-year local college students, still living at home to save money. We actually had to get some work done, and around dinner time her mom invited me to stay for dinner. Everything was fine. If a bit tense, her parents are polite to me, but they have this air of monitoring whenever I'm around, like I'm under inspection. We're sitting at the dinner table, me, Emily, and her mom and dad. Emily's dad asked me about college and how we're handling workload, etc. Then her mom chimes in asking, "So, what do you girls do when you're not studying?" I should have kept it to generic stuff like, "Oh, just hanging out, watching Netflix, etc." But in my dumb attempt to make it sound like Emily has a normal social life and not raise any suspicion that she's up to anything bad, I went on and casually said something along the lines of, "Oh, we sometimes go out with our other friends on weekends. Like last weekend, we all went to see that new Marvel movie." Emily shoots me a quick wide-eyed look. I registered a second too late. Her mom smiles and asks, "Oh, who else did you go with?" Here's where I really stepped in it. I started listing. It was me, Emily, our friend Nina, and... I swear, I hesitated for just a split second, because I almost said Jason's name, then thought, do her parents know Jason is more than just a friend? In that split second, my brain decided, they must know, right? They let her go to the movies, so surely they know who she went with. So I finished the sentence, and Jason. The change in the atmosphere was instant. Emily's mom's smile freezes. Her dad puts down his fork. Emily looks like she's about to kick me under the table or vomit, maybe both. Her mom. "Jason? Who's Jason?" Me, still oblivious as heck, and thinking I might have just forgotten to know him. Jason, from our college?" "Dad, I don't recall hearing about any Jason." His tone had gone cold and very sharp. Emily was staring daggers into me, face pale as a ghost. My heart sank. Oh no, I realized in that moment. They didn't know. I wanted to crawl under the table and die. But the train wreck had left the station. Her parents turned to Emily, and her mom in this deadly calm voice asked, "Emily, who is Jason?" At first, Emily tried to play it off. "Oh, he's just a friend from college. We all hang out in a group." Her dad's face had turned a pretty frightening shade of red. "Is this your boyfriend?" he practically growled. There was this awful, tense silence. Emily looked at me, then at her parents, and she just broke down. "Yes," she said in a tiny voice. "Jason is my boyfriend." It was like a dam burst. Her mom gasped dramatically and put her hand to her chest as if she might faint. Her dad slammed his hand on the table, making the dishes rattle. "We forbade you from dating," he shouted. "You lied to us." I tried to stammer out an apology or something. I'm so sorry, I thought. But honestly, it was like I became invisible. They were laser focused on their daughter. Her mom started yelling about betrayal and disappointment. Her dad was going off about how guys only want one thing, and how could she disrespect them and blah blah. Emily was sobbing, trying to say something like, "I'm sorry, I wanted to tell you, but..." And they were not having it. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there, feeling like the worst human being on earth. I know I didn't intend to spill the beans, but it doesn't matter. I did. And the look of hurt and anger on Emily's face, even through her tears, I wanted to evaporate. I finally found my voice and tried to interject softly. "Maybe I should go." Honestly, I was terrified. Her dad looked furious, and I did not want to stick around for the inevitable lecture aimed at me for being complicit in this secret. Her dad points at me and says very sternly, "I think you should leave." Not in a polite way, in an angry way. Her mom actually said, "Haven't you caused enough trouble?" Which felt like a punch to the gut. Emily ran after me as I quickly grabbed my bag and headed for the door. She was crying and saying, Why would you say that?" All I could blur out was, "I am so sorry. I thought you told them about Jason. I thought they knew." She just shook her head, tears streaming, and one of her parents, I think her mom, shouted from the doorway for her to get back inside now. I apologized like 1,000 times in that 30-second span, but I don't think it even registered with her. She looked absolutely devastated and also furious with me, which I 100% deserve. Then her mom actually came and practically dragged Emily back inside, giving me one last withering look and slamming the door in my face. I could hear them immediately start yelling again as I walked to my car in a daze. So yeah, I drove home on autopilot, barely able to see through my own tears. As soon as I got home, I tried texting Emily a heartfelt apology. No reply. I tried calling. It rang twice, then went to voicemail, which might mean her phone was confiscated, or she just straight up declined. I have no idea. I'm a mess right now. I feel insanely guilty. Emily has been my best friend since we were kids, and I basically blew up her entire world in one stupid moment. I'm also really worried about her. Her parents were livid. I've never seen her dad that angry. The way they were yelling. I'm scared they might do something extreme like pull her out of college or punish her severely, grounding for life, banning all social activity, etc. And Jason, oh man, Jason, he's a great guy, and Emily was so happy with him. Now I've probably gotten him labeled the spawn of Satan in her household. I'm worried her parents might even try to contact him, or his family, to put a stop to the relationship. Knowing them, I wouldn't put it past them to forbid her from ever seeing him again, under threat of disowning her or something. I haven't even been able to talk to Jason yet. I'm not super close with him outside of being Emily's friend, but I have his number. I wonder if he knows what happened. Emily might not be able to tell him if her phone's taken. I did shoot him a text that basically said, I messed up and told her parents. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Have you heard from Em? No response yet. It's been about 4 hours since the dinner disaster, and nothing. No word from Emily or Jason. I'm just sitting here replaying it over and over, kicking myself. How could I be so stupid? Even if I did think they knew about Jason, why the hell did I feel the need to mention his name? Why not just say a few friends and leave it at that? I was trying to make conversation and not look suspicious. And in trying to look unsuspicious, I ended up being the most suspicious blabbermouth ever. As of now, I have no idea what's happening at Emily's house. Best case, a huge screaming match and she's grounded and miserable. Worst case, I don't even want to imagine. Her parents are not abusive or anything, but they are controlling and can punish her in ways that seriously affect her life, like yanking her out of school or taking away every privilege. I'm afraid to drive over there or call their home line. Not sure showing my face there right now would help anyone. My plan is to try contacting her again in the morning, or maybe catching her before class if her parents still let her attend college tomorrow. I just feel like the worst friend ever. I betrayed her trust, even though it was accidental. I don't know how I'll ever make it up to her, or if she'll ever forgive me. Honestly, I wouldn't blame her if she never wanted to speak to me again. TLDR, I accidentally told my best friend's extremely strict parents about her secret boyfriend because I stupidly thought they already knew. Now she's in huge trouble, possibly banned from seeing him and me, and I feel like I destroyed my best friend's life. Update 1. It's the next day and things have indeed gotten worse. I barely slept, and as soon as it was morning, I tried calling Emily's phone again. Straight to voicemail now, which told me her phone is likely off or disconnected. I drove to campus early and waited outside our first class, hard in my throat every time I looked up hopefully. Emily never showed. I ended up meeting Jason instead. He actually came to campus looking for Emily too, since he also hadn't heard from her. We sat down in the student lounge and compared notes. He told me that last night around 10 p.m., he actually drove over to her house, worried sick. That made me both glad because he cares so much and anxious because her dad could have lost it. Sure enough, he said her dad came out when he pulled into the driveway. According to Jason, it was a brief but tense exchange. Her dad basically told him that Emily was not available, that he is not to contact her again, and that if he ever comes near their property or Emily, he'll call the police. Jason tried to explain, or at least asked to speak to Emily, but was essentially threatened and told to leave immediately. So he left. Hearing this made my stomach turn. It's even worse than I thought. They're already treating Jason like a criminal. Jason was visibly upset. He kept running his hands through his hair and had that restless knee bounce going. I expected him to be angry at me, and I wouldn't blame him if he was. But he mostly seemed worried about him. He did ask how it happened, and I explained through tears how stupid I was to mention Jason. He was upset, but understood I never meant for this to happen. We brainstormed what to do. We both agreed that attempting to go to her house would just infuriate her parents more and possibly get us in real trouble. We considered if there was anyone who could act as a mediator, like maybe a counselor at school or a family friend. But her parents aren't the type to involve outsiders in their family business. They'd see that as betrayal too. Jason was desperate to get a message to Emily, so he wrote a long letter on the spot, basically pouring out that he loves her and will wait for her no matter what, and that he's sorry for the trouble with her parents. It was really sweet and heartbreaking. I promised I'd do everything I could to deliver that letter to her. This afternoon, I drove by her house to drop off some school materials. I slipped Jason's letter and a short apology note from me inside a textbook I left in her mailbox, hoping her parents wouldn't notice and she'd find it. I have no idea if or when she'll get it, but I hope she does. I left feeling even more depressed, seeing the house all closed up and silent. Finally, a few hours ago, early evening, I got a brief text from an unknown number. It turned out to be Emily via some free texting app or something, smart girl. My heart leapt seeing her message. She basically said, "I got the letter. Thank you. I'm not mad at you, just really scared and sad. I'm using my mom's iPad while they think I'm doing homework. Can't stay on long." I quickly replied, telling her how relieved I was to hear from her and asking if she's okay. We had to keep it short because she said her mom was hovering nearby. But in those few minutes, she managed to tell me the basics of what's going on. Her parents have indeed banned her from going to campus classes for now. They claim they're arranging alternatives. What alternatives? We're halfway through the semester. She's only allowed to leave the house for absolutely necessary things, and one of them will apparently accompany her everywhere for the time being. They took away her phone and laptop. The iPad she's using is her mom's, and she can only use it for specific school tasks under supervision. She slipped away with it while her mom was showering. They've forbidden her from contacting me, Jason, or Nina. She said they literally call me a bad influence and Jason the devil on earth. Wow, thanks. The worst part, she overheard them talking about possibly sending her to live with her aunt in another state, or even transferring her to a different college, or a women's college with stricter rules next semester. They haven't decided yet, but the fact they're considering basically uprooting her life is terrifying her and me. She told me she's under basically constant surveillance. Her dad even stayed home from work today to keep an eye on her. She's beyond miserable and says she feels like she's in prison. She also said she tried to argue that she's an adult and they can't just take her out of college. But they countered that as long as she lives under their roof and they pay for things, she'll do as they say. I barely had time to tell her we'd figure something out before she said, "Gotta go," and the line went dead. I suspect her mom got out of the shower or something. I tried replying, but it didn't go through. Looks like she deleted the app right after using it. So that's where things stand as of tonight. I'm reeling. Jason was devastated when I updated him. We're all terrified that they're going to ship her off somewhere far away. It's clear that as long as Emily is under their control, they will do everything to cut us, and especially Jason, out of her life. I feel slightly better that she doesn't outright hate me. She even wrote, "I'm not mad at you," which made me want to cry with relief, but that doesn't change the nightmare she's living. We're trying to come up with a plan. Right now, Jason's adamant about not giving up on her. I am too, obviously. One idea on the table. If her parents actually try to send her away, maybe, just maybe, we can help her escape this madness. It's a crazy, risky thought, and I don't want to put ideas in her head that could backfire. But seeing how extreme her parents have become, we might have to consider extreme measures in return. I'll update again as things unfold, hoping for the best, but bracing for the worst. Update 2. Final, I wish I had better news, but the situation hit a breaking point last night in the most dramatic way. I'm still in shock and not sure how to feel. Emily's parents moved shockingly fast. They withdrew her from our college, citing a family emergency, and booked a plane ticket for her to go stay with her aunt across the country, leaving this morning. They wanted her away from bad influences immediately. So we came up with a desperate plan. Early this morning, a few hours before her flight, Emily would sneak out, and I'd pick her up down the street from her house. Then I'd get her to Jason, who'd be waiting in a parking lot a few miles away. It was like a covert mission. My heart pounded as I parked in the dark and waited. For a moment, I thought we pulled it off. Emily slipped out her house at 4 a.m. and met me at the end of her street, tears in her eyes but smiling with relief as she jumped into my car. I quietly started driving away. Then headlights appeared behind us. Fast. A car turned onto the road and sped up. In my rear view, I knew it was her dad. "Oh my God, that's my dad." Emily choked out. I panicked and hit the gas. It felt like a nightmare. We were only a couple streets from where Jason waited. I screeched into the diner parking lot where Jason was and braked hard. Jason was already outside his car, seeing us coming in hot. Emily's dad barreled in right after, blocking my car with his. Everything happened in a blur. Her dad jumped out, furious, and Jason immediately moved to shield Emily, standing between her dad and my car. "Emily, get out of that car right now," her dad shouted. I hit the lock button on my doors instinctively. Emily was trembling and crying, and I was frozen, gripping the steering wheel. Jason tried to reason with her dad, pleading that Emily is 18 and they can't keep her prisoner. Her dad snarled that this was none of Jason's business. They were nose to nose, on the verge of fight. Inside my car, Emily was sobbing, "I can't go back, I can't." So I did the only thing I could think of. I unlocked the doors and said, Go with Jason." She nodded, grabbed her backpack, and slipped out of my passenger side toward Jason. The moment her dad saw her, he lunged and grabbed her backpack strap. "You're not going anywhere," he bellowed, yanking her toward him. That was it for Jason. He pulled Emily away and stepped in front of her, practically shouting, "Enough!" Her dad looked ready to swing at Jason. He actually raised a hand, but then he hesitated. A couple of truckers who were at the diner had started watching. Her dad's fist unclenched, but his face was pure rage. You want to ruin your life, Emily? Fine. Go, he spat. But if you leave now, don't ever expect to come back. Through her tears, Emily stammered, Dad, please. You already made your choice, he cut her off. He cast a furious glance at me in the car and barked, And you? This is on you too. I just sat there shaking, tears in my eyes. Jason took Emily by the arm and quickly guided her to his car. Her dad stood there, shaking with anger but not stopping her. Jason got her into his car and, with one last look at her father, sped out of the lot. Her dad jumped back into his car and tore off after them, but they were already gone. I sat there in the empty lot, shaking and crying. After about 20 minutes, I finally got a text from Jason. They were okay. He and Emily had driven far enough to be safe. She was with him, upset but safe. Later, Emily texted me from Jason's phone. She thanked us for helping her and said she never wanted to end like this, but her parents gave her no choice. She even told me not to blame myself, which made me cry all over again. Now, her parents are leaving me furious messages demanding to know where she is. Legally, there's nothing they can do since she's 18. My own parents are aware and upset, but understand why we helped Emily. The whole thing is a mess. I'm relieved she's away from her toxic home, but there's nothing happy about this ending. Emily is free, but she lost her family, at least for now. Her parents effectively lost their daughter because they tried to control her. And this all started with one slip of my tongue. Our lives will never be the same.